Welcome back, welcome back, welcome back, welcome. We are going to talk about one of my absolute favorite topics. Boom, 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 boom. How to grow your nails long. So growing your nails long isn't luck. It is definitely about having a routine. So let's start out with the basics. What are nails? They are keratin, which fuse and marry together and grow out of the nail matrix or nail bed. Now, keratin is a protein, and as such, it can be affected by many different factors. And I'm going to give you my top tricks to help you grow the nails of your dreams. So, what's one of the number one benefits? Why should you care about growing your nails long? Well, to me, the number one benefit, the thing that matters absolutely the most, is that it will save you time, money, and effort because you will not have to be dependent on going to salons and getting acrylics or gel overlays or any of that stuff can completely end. It will be out of your life forever. You don't need to do it. So, number one, the most important thing, if you do nothing else, please do not bite your nails. You should do nail care with tools, not with teeth. Makes sense, right? But sometimes we develop bad habits. I know I have a few that have been very difficult to break. So you want to try to substitute a habit if you are routinely biting your nails, rather than using a bittering nail polish product, which can actually end up locking in moisture and making your nails softer and more likely to break, as does any polish. I'm going to want you to try, or at least I'm going to invite you to try some alternatives. Chew gum. If you have a nervous habit of biting your nails, try to substitute and chew gum. If that doesn't work, try putting on gloves, especially if you're at home. Some cotton gloves, you bring it up to your mouth, you're like, oh, boom, I don't want to chew that. I've got gloves on. I'm trying to do something to move my life forward so I can have awesome nails. So those would be great things to try if you are a nail biter. If that doesn't work and you have developed what you might suspect is a little bit of dependence on it, I encourage you to get professional help because everybody needs help sometimes, and sometimes a professional is going to be able to help you get out of obsessive compulsive kind of behavior more quickly than YouTube advice, and I am certainly not a doctor, so that is always an option. So let's talk about some of the tips that I have in terms of helping your nails. So the second tip I would offer is to avoid excess water. So if you are a pool swimmer or you swim in the ocean all the time, water makes nails bendy, and bendy nails tend not to be strong, and non-strong nails are more likely to break. Makes sense, right? So if you're a person that spends a lot of time in water, you're going to have a much rougher road than someone who doesn't. And you might want to avoid it for a few months if that's what you're trying to focus on in terms of growing your nails. If you are a person that cleans up the house, does the kitchen chores, and you're in charge of that, you want to wear a handy dandy pair of those yellow or red bright kitchen gloves that go to like the elbow. Those are going to be great for you because it cuts down any exposure to water and it cuts down any exposure to very, very harsh chemicals. Most cleaning chemicals are going to be terribly, terribly bad for both your skin and your nails. So avoid that completely by wearing gloves, and that will help you in terms of strength. I am very much an advocate for using your nails as an accessory, but I know you're not going to love hearing this. Going and getting acrylics or getting press-on nails, using nail color and nail varnishes and nail polishes, all those things are actually not very good for your nails, unfortunately. So if you have the willpower to avoid them, your nails are actually going to grow faster. So why are those things a problem? Well, first of all, if you are getting your nails professionally done and you're getting acrylics on your nails, you are going to want to skip that completely. They use mechanical sanders, which tend to damage the nail bed. And if you damage the nail bed, you're not going to have a positive result in terms of your nails sprouting out from that nail matrix. The glues, the varnishes, the paints, the acrylic gels, all those things are very, 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 did I say very? They're very damaging to your nails. They can actually cause delamination, which is where the layers peel apart. They can cause damage through pitting. They can introduce all sorts of disease, either through tools that are not clean or through getting a cut or a nick at your cuticle bed, or actually breaking through the top layer of your bed into the matrix of the nail itself. That's no bueno. It's just not good. So being able to cut that routine out is going to help you. If you are hoping that you could put on a gel layer, like a UV gel layer, those cause massive damage to the nail bed. They cause cracking, they cause peeling, and it can take upwards of 6 months to have that actually grow out completely. I would really, really think twice about doing that if you're trying to grow your natural nails. And if you have a special occasion where it's important to you to have a lasting finish, just understand that when you do take it off, or it does in fact wear off, the chances of having a healthy nail bed underneath that is close to zero. Not happening. So just be aware that you're trading the beautiful long length that you could achieve naturally by having those gels. Now, regular polishes are often advocated, in my personal opinion, unduly to create strength. And they do create strength. If you put an additional product on top of your nails, you're like fusing a second layer, and that does add strength. But the problem with doing that is that overall, it actually creates weakness through a couple different things. First of all, if you polish your nails, you have to take the polish off at some point as it chips, as it grows out. If you want to change colors, something like that, you've got to expose it to a completely other set of chemicals, either acetone or non-acetone, depending on the type of color, or varnish lacquer, whatever word you choose to use. And those things tend to suck the oil out, the natural oil out of the keratin layer, and then it makes the whole nail brittle. So that's not good. You can use them temporarily, but if you are like constantly polishing your nails, you're never giving your actual natural nail bed a second to breathe, then you are suffocating them, and they are just not going to hold up as well long term. So I encourage you to stop the madness, stop the acrylics, stop the UV gels, stop painting them, let your nails breathe, and you're going to get a better result. And you're also going to be healthier because you're not exposing yourself to the chemicals involved in professional mani-pedis and to the chemicals that you are breathing in the salon itself. There's a reason most of the workers there wear masks, and it is for their protection because a lot of those fumes are noxious. They're terribly toxic. And it's just a situation that's best avoided if you're trying to grow natural nails. Another tip, you don't want to pick at your nails. If you notice an area that's starting to delaminate, the last thing you want to do is sit there and pick at it, because then you're just going to create more trauma. The important thing to do if you have like a nail burr, if you catch your nail shaving in a razor blade and you have a little nick, if you clip just the end and part of it breaks off, don't file it, actually cut it down first, cut out the damaged area using an incredibly super sharp nail cutter. If your nail color is dull and you have to put a lot of pressure to get it to actually go through your nail, get a better, newer, sharper nail cutter so that you can get a good, clean edge, and then lightly shape. And always shape going one direction. So if this is your nail, go one direction, outside to outside or inside to inside, but not that way. If you're going one direction and then skipping and going another direction, you're actually cross-filing the fibers that form the keratin that make up your nails, and you're weakening them. So along that same vein, you want to minimize unnatural shaping to your nails. So if you love stiletto nails or you think coffin nails are gorgeous, you are not going to have great longevity, because if I can hold this up, if you are taking this edge that creates a structure that holds the center part of your nail away, they're naturally going to be more fragile and you're much more likely to break them. So you want to keep shaping to a minimum at all times, if at all possible. So along those veins, make sure that if you are using a nail file, you're always using the softest possible file on the surface. So if you've got one of those 4-way emery boards, look for the soft emery board and stick to that. Do not use the other more intense ones. They're just a little bit too rough for your nails, and you can actually end up taking away way more nail structure than you intend if you were just trying to get a simple, soft edge to it. So the natural nail shape as it grows out for most people is either square-ish or almond-ish. Go with it. Do not cut off the structure of your nail. Do not cut off the sides of your nail because it is going to weaken the whole thing and they're much more likely to break. If you want to have a shine to your nail, there's 2 different ways that you can achieve that are going to be much better long-term than polishing. One of them is to buff. So if you get a buffer and you buff the surfaces of your nails, you can get like a really pretty lustrous finish without using polish. And it has the added benefit of drawing the blood supply to the nail, assuming you don't go too far. And really, if you're not using a mechanized buffer, it's difficult to go too far. And you can get a gorgeous, shiny finish to your nails without relying on polish. So that's the first tip. The second tip is nutrition, because what you put inside your body is so much more important than anything you do outside your body in terms of growing awesome nails. So things that you can do are going to be dietary. So one of those things is to drink plain, unflavored water and to drink it regularly. This was something I had such a huge problem with growing up. It was just not the way that I was indoctrinated as a child. And I grew up hating the taste of plain water. And to be honest, I'm 49. I still pretty much hate it, but I understand the benefit now. And I'm willing to do something that I consider slightly unpleasant in order to get the benefit of it. And I'll drink some now because water is good for you. If you absolutely positively cannot seem to make yourself develop a self-discipline to drink plain water, then drink a flavored water that's natural. So not something you're getting off the shelf, not like something that has artificial flavors or colors. You don't want to do those types of things. They're very, very hard on your kidneys when you process the liquid trying to get the water molecules that your body so desperately needs. Create a natural flavored water. So put cucumber slices in your water rather than to rely on a chemical meant to emulate cucumber. Or put strawberry slices in your water rather than a chemical that's meant to imitate strawberry or whatever flavor happens to appeal to you. But natural, actual plain water is one of the best things you can do, particularly as you age, to keep your skin hydrated, because dry skin is different than dehydrated skin. Dry skin is a condition on the outside. Dehydration is a condition on the inside that you can totally address and will help your nails, will help your skin, will help your hair. Your whole body will function better. You will better be able to process the food that you take in. And it's just, the benefits to plain water are endless. And it's still, to be honest, it's something I struggle with. I have a rough time, but I just remind myself, no, don't drink that lemonade. Don't drink that soda. Drink plain water. Plain water. Have you had plain water today? Drink some plain water. And I've tried over the past 5 years or so to really make it a habit, even though it is not natural to me, to drink plain water. And I can tell such a huge difference if I have a day where I don't drink enough water. I dry out right away. My lips absolutely become dehydrated. My skin becomes dehydrated. My complexion looks duller. When I have a great water day, everything is better. I look younger. My skin is more firm. I don't have as deep tear troughs. Everything works better. Everything seems to be better in my life from drinking water. So definitely do that. So the second part of nutrition is to make sure that you are taking in foods, preferably over supplements, that are going to support healthy nail growth. So a lot of people know one of the big ones, which is biotin. is also known as vitamin K. And while you can take vitamins like biotin and they're better than nothing, you definitely would prefer to take it out of food because it's going to be more available to your body to process. So things that are going to have a lot of biotin in them are going to be things like mushrooms, avocados, bananas, salmon. All those have vitamin H, and that is going to be very good for your skin. It's going to be great for your hair. It's very good for your digestion. If you can only get it through a supplement, take biotin. It's better than nothing, and it will absolutely help your hair, your skin, your nails. Now, one caution I want to put out there for you is that it takes a while if you are deficient of a vitamin for that deficiency to be filled up. If your gas tank is empty, it takes a while to like build it up again. So depending on how depleted you are, that could be 3 months, that could be 6 months. It just depends how deep in that hole or how depleted your body is before you see a noticeable result. And once you start to see a noticeable result, you will notice your nails become thicker, they become stronger, and it's not just fingernails, it's also toenails. So again, make sure you have an extremely sharp nail cutter at all times so that you're not struggling to cut nails when you want them shorter. My nails are strong to this point where I need to cut them back. This is my preferred length. I don't want to go farther than this, but I could, but I choose not to based on my profession. So something else that is really, really important for you to take in is folic acid. And folic acid is particularly important if you happen to be pregnant because the body does not store folic acid at all. If you take an excess amount of folic acid in one day, your body will excrete the excess. It can't store it. So you want to make sure that B9, which is also known as folic acid, is available to you every single day because that's going to help your skin and it's going to help your nails. It helps in strength. It helps in growth. And so it's really, really important. So folic acid is present in red meat, in fish, and in cheese. Yay, cheese! And that's really, really important. You want to get some vitamin A, which is found in carrots and leafy greens and kale. And vitamin A is wonderful for nail strength and nail growth and renewal of blood cells. And it's super important. You want to get some zinc, which is found in eggs and found in milk, and that's going to help your body produce beautiful, strong, lustrous nails. Magnesium-rich foods like almonds, definitely a plus. Have a handful of almonds now and then. And of course, vitamin C found in kale and oranges and citrus in general is wonderful for nail support. And I really want to encourage you to try to make sure that you're getting good antioxidants, which are going to help cellular renewal both in your face and in your nails. So make sure you're getting some of that. I think one of the most underrated tips in terms of growing nails is to make sure that you are not using your lovely nails as tools. These are accessories. If you need to open a letter, if you need to open a package, if you've got, I don't know, let's go crazy. Let's imagine you have something stuck in your teeth. Don't use your nails like a tool. Get the proper tool for the job. So in the case of a popcorn husk caught in your teeth, get some dental floss. In the case of opening a letter, use a letter opener. The more likely you are to use your nails as a tool, the more likely you are to break those nails because even though they're strong, they're not metal strong. So yes, you could theoretically open a letter with your lovely long nails, but why would you risk breaking a nail when you can use a letter opener? Use the correct tool for the job. And of course, as I mentioned earlier, don't use your teeth on your nails. Use a tool if you want to shape, if you've got a little bit of damage, if you've got a burr, and address it right away. I know that I tend to be very, very quick to want to get rid of a burr if I happen to snag my nail on something and it either creates a small tear or creates a burr. You've got to address that with tools right away. And I carry a small, very simple set of tool care items everywhere I go so that I am not tempted to pick at a burr or to pick at a slight tear, which will make the damage far worse than it needs to be if I just take care of it with a tool, clip the damage out, lightly sand the area to fix the profile of the nail. It's just going to be better for me in general. So another thing that people do use quite a lot, especially in today's society, and I totally get it. I get it. I have been out in the world. Hand sanitizers that are alcohol-based are so incredibly drying and aging both to your nails and to your skin. It's so much better to wash your hands than to use a hand sanitizer. If you are addicted to hand sanitizers, your nails are, and your skin, not just your nails, are always going to be much, much weaker. So try to avoid those at all costs. If you're doing something that's icky, maybe carry a pair of vinyl gloves in your purse where you can pull out the gloves, do that icky thing, take off the gloves, and you didn't expose your hands to hand sanitizer. So my last tip is to avoid messing with your cuticles. You can notice, I don't know if the camera can pick this up, my cuticles, quite lovely. I do not push my cuticles back. I do not cut my cuticles, and you shouldn't either, because cuticles serve a function in nails and they affect nail growth. If you cut your cuticles, you're obviously creating a giant doorway by which germs can enter your body and you can get an infection, especially if it's done at a salon. I've heard of so many girls who have gotten terrible, terrible infections through having a nick at a salon. So you want to try to avoid that if you can. Pushing the cuticle back to try to make your nails appear longer, actually exposing the hidden part of your nails. That part of your nails is incredibly vulnerable to germs. So bacteria, fungus, viruses, all that stuff, you don't want to put the inside of your body on the outside. I'm just saying that generally is not a good idea. Now, as far as cutting your cuticles, some people cut their cuticles because their cuticles are either so dry that they crack or they're super, super thick. Now, both of those things can be addressed in a different way that I think is going to be much healthier for your nails. So first thing is, if your nails are cracking because, or your cuticles are cracking because they're dry, you can apply some coconut oil at night underneath a pair of gloves, which will help that moisture soak in and not evaporate. And it's also antimicrobial as an added bonus. And over time, that will assist you in terms of keeping your cuticles more hydrated. But the nutrition part that we talked about in terms of getting your vitamins from food and drinking plain water will also address those issues from the inside. Now, if you have incredibly thick cuticles, chances are that overgrowth is based on the fact that you cut your cuticles regularly. If you cut your cuticles regularly, your body is going to respond in kind by overproducing the tissue that you're just trying to remove over and over. So if you stop that habit, you will definitely notice over time an improvement. So my final tip is to make sure that you have a realistic outlook in terms of growing out your nails. It is not an overnight process, and you have to commit between 3 and 6 months, depending on your body and the state it is when you start, in order for your nails to grow out. But once they're grown out, you don't have to go to salons. You don't have to be dependent on acrylics. You don't have to be dependent on any of those things because you will have lovely, long, natural nails on your own. Now, nails grow at about 3.47 millimeters per month. Now, they grow faster under 2 conditions. If you're pregnant or during the day in the summer months, having to do with the hormonal load in your body. Both of those tend to dramatically increase nail growth. So make sure that you're aware that it's going to take a little time to get the payoff of the investment. And if you're not willing to take the time to invest in it, then you're not going to get as good of an outcome than if you did take the time. And be gentle with yourself. If you fall off the wagon and stop doing part of your nail care routine, just climb back up on that horse tomorrow because you understand the benefit. Bam, 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 bam. Oh, nice, long, beautiful nails. Now, I do want to have one slight caveat. If you notice a dramatic shift in what your nails look like over time, and that shift is a negative, it can actually be representative of other very serious health concerns. For example, if you've never had problems with peeling nails or deep grooves and ridges in the nail bed, and you notice suddenly that you have really peely nails or tons of deep grooves and ridges in your nail beds, and you've never experienced this before and you haven't really changed anything in your lifestyle, please go see medical care. Seek medical care immediately. Go see a doctor, because those things can be the sign of very serious problems with the thyroid, among other things. And you just want to rule that out and make sure that it is a trauma-based situation and not a health-based situation, because if a nail suffers trauma, it can create a scar in the nail bed, and that can affect the way the nails grow out. So you can get little white specks, you can get a ridge, any of those types of things can happen. And it takes about 6 months if you get a nail speck way at the back to grow all the way out to the tip. But definitely seek a doctor's advice if you think that there is something going on, because your nails are one of those areas where a hidden health problem can be seen. And if you suspect something's going on, definitely see a doctor. I hope you found this helpful. If you have a tip that I didn't mention that's really helpful in maintaining and growing out your long, natural nails, please leave it in the comments. And don't forget to subscribe, like, and share if you like what I have to say. And make sure you turn on the bell, ding ding, so that you are informed every time I upload a new video. Thanks for joining me. I so appreciate each and every one of you. You guys rock. Thank you so much. Have a great day.